Good morning, students. Today, the topic of discussion is nutrition for health across lifespan. See, the health of a person depends on the type of the food and quantity of food he chooses to make his diet. For a healthy life, diet should be planned according to the principles of nutrition. As you all know, World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So it is very important to have appropriate nutrition to maintain health. The nutrient increases or decreases. It's often dependent on the stage of life as well as the activity level of the individual. It's not same for all. Being aware of the macronutrient, vitamin and mineral requirements, individual maintain optimal health and wellness throughout the main stages of life. The nutrients can be divided into mainly two: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients include proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, whereas micronutrients include minerals and vitamins. Fiber is not a nutrient, but it is an important component of diet. Carbohydrates: 1 gram of carbohydrates yield 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of protein yields 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of fat yields 9 kilocalories. Food can be classified based on their functions. Like there are energy yielding foods, there are body building foods, and there are protective foods. Energy yielding foods will be rich in carbohydrates and fat. For example, cereals, roots and tubers, dried fruits. Bodybuilding foods will be rich in protein. It includes milk, meat, fish, egg, pulses, oilseed, and nuts. Protective food includes vitamins and minerals and also foods rich in proteins. So this is a diagram of a food pyramid. It shows at the base of the pyramid you will find foods that you eat most. It includes grains and cereals. And at the second level you will see food and fruits and vegetables that you eat more. And at the top of the pyramid you will find food that you eat less. It includes fat, oil, salts and sweets. So let us see each of these nutrients in detail. Proteins. Proteins are derived from, the word protein is derived from Greek word proteos, meaning to take the first place. It plays a significant role in all activities of living organism. It is a main constituent of tissue present in skin, muscles, skeleton and in body fluids. Protein is rich in meat, fish, poultry, eggs, milk and milk products, cereal grains and legumes. Pulses are otherwise known as poor man's meat. Pulses are rich in proteins. Let us see the protein allowance. For man, it is 1 gram per kg per day. That is, a man weighing 55 kg has to consume 55 grams of protein daily. For women also same, 1 gram per kg per day. And for pregnancy state, especially second trimester and the third trimester, 14 gram is required. For lactation, up to 6 months, 25 grams per day. Again, for children, it differs. For 1 to 3 years, it is 1.83 gram per kg, and 4 to 6 years, 1.56 gram per kg. 7 to 9 years, it is 1.35 gram per kg. So they are bodybuilding nutrient. So children needs more protein for bodybuilding. See, for boys and girls it differs. Boys need more protein compared to girls. Boys 10 to 12 years, 1.24 grams per kg. 13 to 15 years, 1.10 gram per kg. 16 to 18 years, 0.94 gram per kg. Girls 10 to 12 years, 1.17 gram per kg. 13 to 15 years, 0.95 gram per kg. That's all about proteins. Now, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are essential macronutrients and they supply energy for body functions and doing work. So, these are some of the foods which are rich in carbohydrates: cereals and millets, rice, jowar, pulses, bengal gram, red gram, nuts, oil seeds, roots and tubers, potato, tapioca, sweet potato, arrowroot flour, cane sugar, sago, honey. The second column you find the amount of carbohydrates in 100 grams of each of these items. So cereals and millets have more carbohydrates per 100 gram, and sago, honey, is also having high amount of carbohydrates per 100 gram. So these are the rich sources of carbohydrates: cereals, millets, roots, tubers, pulses, sugar, jaggery, milk, sugar. Carbohydrate requirement also vary depending upon the age of the individual. Adults require about 50 to 70% of the total calories should come from 50 to 70% of calories should come from carbohydrates. For expectant and nursing mothers, 40 to 60% of total calories should come from carbohydrates. For infants, preschoolers, older children and adolescents, 40 to 70. So, carbohydrates are an essential nutrient required for all ages. Next is lipids and fat. Fat improves palatability of diet and gives satiety value. And fat is more tasty compared to other nutrients. It also contains essential fatty acids like linoleic acid, and arachidonic acid. So the percent of total calories from fat for normal adults, expectant and nursing mothers is 10 to 20%. For children and adolescents 2 to 18 years, it is 15 to 20. Infants need more fat for brain development and all. Lipids are required more, so it is 25 to 30% of the total calories. So these are the various sources of fat: avocado, salmon, olive oil, sunflower seeds, peanut butter, sardine. Next is the micronutrients. Micronutrients includes minerals and vitamins, as already mentioned. There are about 24 minerals in the body and they are the main constituents of bones and teeth. They are also constituents of soft tissues like muscles, liver, etc. The important minerals include calcium, phosphorus, zinc, potassium, sodium, chlorine, selenium, silicon, etc. So mostly what we find in adolescents is calcium and iron deficiency. So these are some of the foods which are rich in calcium and iron. Almonds, soy, beans, dairy products, peas, fish, orange, meat, broccoli are rich in calcium. And chicken, liver, pork, beef, egg yolk, they're all rich in iron. And other iron-rich foods include gooseberry, green leafy vegetables, spinach, watermelon, dried apricot, raisins, iron fortified cereals, etc. So if you lack iron, you will develop anemia. See the difference in anemia? The normal RBC count will be less compared to the normal. And if you have calcium deficits, you will enter with osteoporosis. Osteoporosis will lead to fracture. The next is vitamins. Vitamins include retinol, carotenoids. Vitamin A includes retinol and carotenoids. Vitamin A deficiency leads to night blindness, toad skin, phrenoderma. Sources of vitamin A includes shark, halibut, liver of animals like sheep, goat and cow. Vitamin D, you get enough vitamin D from sunshine. Sources of vitamin D includes fish liver oil, egg yolk, milk, butter and ghee. Deficiency of vitamin D leads to rickets in infancy and childhood and osteomalacia in adults. Vitamin E. Vitamin E is rich in cereal gem oils, human milk for infants. They are rich in vitamin E. Deficiencies are not common, but sometimes sterility is reported in males. The normal requirement for males is 30 international units, and for females it is 25 international units. Vitamin K, the sources of vitamin K is plant oils, rice bran oil, and wheat germ, soybean, cottonseed oil, whole grain cereals, fleshy foods, and organ meats. So, deficiency of vitamin K can lead to bleeding disorders. And there are water soluble vitamins like C, B, etc. So, for vitamin C, lime, orange, pineapple, ripe mango, papaya, all yellow fruits, cashew nut, tomato are good sources of vitamin C. Deficiency leads to scurvy. Vitamin B1, then riboflavin, niacin, pyridoxine, these are B vitamins. So it can also lead, deficiency of these vitamins can also lead to various deficiency disorders such as beriberi, riboflavinosis, and pellagra. Pyridoxine is very important vitamin. It is present in rice polishing and liver, dried yeast. Deficiency of pyridoxine or B6 leads to pellagra. Then pantothenic acid, 10 mg per day is required. Sources of pantothenic acid include dried yeast, liver, rice polishing, and wheat germs. Deficiency of pantothenic acid leads to burning feet. Another important vitamin is vitamin B12. The daily requirement is 1 microgram per day and 1.5 microgram in pregnancy. Sources of B12 includes kidney, liver, brain, meat, poultry, egg, fish, and milk. Deficiency of vitamin B12 leads to pernicious anemia. The next is folic acid and vitamin B-C. Folic acid is rich in kidney, liver, dark green leafy vegetables, soybean, and groundnuts. Deficiency leads to megaloblastic anemia. So what do you mean by optimum nutrition or adequate nutrition? When all the essential nutrients are present in a correct proportion as required by your body, it is called optimum nutrition or adequate nutrition. Then what is malnutrition? Malnutrition is an impairment of health either from a deficiency or excess or imbalance of nutrients. See, these are some of the pictures of malnutrition. It includes overnutrition and undernutrition. See the picture of obesity, it is overnutrition. So that is also coming under malnutrition. And there are pictures of protein energy malnutrition. First two pictures, marasmus and kwashiorkor, they are protein deficiency disorders. Deficiency disorders, malnourished children, then rickets, beriberi, and scurvy. So these all comes under malnutrition. Malnutrition includes both overnutrition and undernutrition. Now let us see the requirements across lifespan. For infants up to 6 months, breastfeeding is recommended. They can also be given vitamin D supplements. They require 3 times protein needs than adults. They require about 4 times amount of vitamin D and calcium than adults because of the development of teeth and bones. Newborns need to be fed about 7 or 8 times a day. By 2 months, only 5 times a day. Breast milk is recognized as the best food to foster brain development. They will need all fat-soluble vitamins and various water-soluble vitamins, including riboflavin, niacin, B5, and vitamin C. So infants should not be given cow's milk until they are a year old, and they should be given whole milk because they need the fat for growth and development. They can start eating solid foods around 4 to 6 months. with baby rice cereals due to allergies. They should be introduced to vegetables next, followed by fruit. Fruit is sweet, so they may like vegetables less than being introduced to them. They should be introduced to new food only one at a time to prevent food allergies. Between 4 and 6 months, they can begin drinking out of a cup. Parents cannot add chopped food by 1 year if baby's teeth appear. Next is weaned infants and young children, because they are between 6 months and 1 year. So these children are weaning from breast milk and gradually taking the normal diet, stepping into normal diet. So there are problems like iron deficiency, anemia, growth and development is sometimes retarded due to low food intake. So school age children are very active, so they need a variety of nutrient dense foods in small amounts frequently. Expose children to new food one at a time, not all at once. Do not use food as a punishment or reward. In school and all, now we have a program called VIFA, that is weekly iron and folic acid is introduced for the prevention of nutritional, especially anemia among adolescent children. So children's taste buds are sensitive. Avoid sweet food and as snacks. Schedule snack 1.5 to 2 hours before meals. So the very important point is that the eating habits and attitudes of children usually do not change in adulthood. Parents should urge kids to take a good breakfast, include low-fat milk or yogurt. Diets for healthy children should foremost provide energy and nutrients to support optimal growth and development. Now, adolescents are growing quickly. They are very active. So, energy and nutritional requirements are greater than those of adults. There is risk of vitamin D. So, for adolescents, they need, for girls, need approximately 2,200 kilocalories, and boys need about 2,800 calories per day. So, teens should include foods that contain calcium, iron. Especially girls should take increased iron content because of menstruation. Zinc, vitamin E for reproductive maturity, vitamin E and C for healthy tissue and immune system. Nutritious snacks are especially important. For adults, metabolism slows down. Generally, total food intake needs to be reduced during adulthood. Due to busy schedules, nutritious meals are replaced with fast foods and snacks nowadays. But that is to be avoided. It is very important to get fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean meats, low fat dairy products, while avoiding foods high in sugar and fat. Sedentary lifestyle creates greater need for daily exercise. Exercising is a key to balancing food intake and output. So men and women always have different requirements. Their calorie needs decrease. There is difference for pregnant and lactating women. So what is recommended daily intake? Recommended daily intake is the average daily intake level that is sufficient to meet the nutrient requirements of nearly 97 to 98% all healthy individuals. They are specific to different stages of life and gender. A basic rule of thumb is more energy is required to support periods of growth and to fuel active lives. So this RDI is given by nutritional expert group of ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research. So 0 to 1 year need 120 kilocalories per kg. For infants up to 12 months, 100 kilocalories per kg. For children 1 to 3 years, 1200 kilocalories they need. Children 4 to 6 years, 1600 kilocalories. Children 7 to 9 years. As the age increases, the calorie requirement is increasing. For adolescent boys and girls, for boys slightly higher, 2560 kilocalories is needed compared to girls. Adult males and females, pregnant women, it is 2200 kilocalories. and for lactating mother, it is 2600 kilocalories. So next, let us discuss nutrition in pregnancy. So in pregnancy, there are two components which are needed in large amount, that is folate and iron. So folate is needed to prevent neural tubal brain damages, and it should be taken by all women in the reproductive age group before they become pregnant. The mother will get more protein to support the growth of the fetus, yet most people already eat enough to support the increased need. So calcium is needed for the growth of bones. Iron reserve needs to be built up before birth. Since breast milk is not a rich source of iron, mother should eat an extra glass of milk and green leafy vegetables every day. So this is a nutritional plan in pregnancy. It's cereals 475 grams, pulses, green leafy vegetables, roots and tubers 50 grams, daily milk and milk products, fruit 60 grams, sugar and jaggery 40 grams. And during lactation, also she needs additional supplements so that baby get adequate nutrients from the breast milk. Cereals 500 grams, pulses 70 grams, leafy vegetables 100 grams, other vegetables 40 grams, roots and tubers 50 grams, milk and milk products 250 ml, oil and fat 50 grams, fruit 60 grams, sugar and jaggery 40 grams. So regarding elderly, aging adults have a less sensitive taste buds. Also, they have less sensitive to smells, and their energy requirements, metabolic needs are less. What they require more is vitamin D, calcium, folate, B6 and B12. Because they are less active, they need less fat, sodium, calories in their diet. They need more nutrient dense food. And we don't have a dietary plan for elderly, but now ICMR is preparing some nutritional guidelines for elderlies. Elderly who live alone have a harder time because malnutrition is a main concern for them. So many health concerns like various diseases like hypertension, diabetes make them malnourished because of the restriction in the diet. So older adults, they need, as mentioned earlier, they have reduced energy requirements. The calorie needs decrease. They need more vitamin D and calcium. So we can conclude saying that the nutrients increases and decreases are dependent on the stage of life as well as the activity level of the individual. So being aware of the various macronutrients and micronutrients, the individual can maintain their optimal health by maintaining adequate diet in their life.